3. Have any of you ever considered playing as Ness or Lucas? If you chose Ness or Lucas in the second question, then you can just skip this one. Also, Shiro can skip this question since he answered this in his AMA.
Hard pass, thanks. They always kind of weirded me out. I know they're styled after their 2D sprites, but they just look so strange and 3D. I'm with you on that, but I've had a good time playing as them before. I just like Zelda's magic better, that's all.
Well, it's not really magic. They use psychic attacks. I've played them both a decent amount. They're fun when you get the hang of their recovery.
Their elemental attacks are cool, but Pikachu's is still cooler. Though I hate fighting them because of that stupid absorb shield. I see no reason to deviate from where I've found success. The fourth didn't feel so right to me, perhaps.
4. If you could choose any character to join the Smash Bros. Roster, who would you choose? Natsuki and MC have already answered this question, so they can sit this one out.
I never considered. Oh no, what if my choice makes everyone mad? I'm sorry, but I think I'd like to add Gandalf. Oh, Yuri, they already have Ganondorf! But no, Gandalf, the wizard. Oh yeah, he's a wizard, but he fights more like a brawler. But the wizard from Lord of the Rings, Gandalf. Zelda got their villain from Lord of the Rings? Oh my god, Sayori. Gandalf. Yuri, you forgot the middle syllable of his name. It's okay, I know you aren't that big of a gamer. Oh my goodness, whatever, I've made my choice. You'd had a second Ganondorf. Well, I do have multiple versions of Link, so... I'd add an Animal Crossing character. It wouldn't be a specific one, it'd be a clone of villager. But all the skins would be different species of neighbors. I'd play that character forever. Oh wait, scratch that. They'll be clones of Isabelle.
I'd like to see Shantae. She'd fit right in. She's cute, cool, has plenty of abilities, and she even used to be a Nintendo character. Not everybody knows she had her roots on the Game Boy.
I hate to keep bringing up Parappa, but he was in PlayStation All-Stars, so they could probably add him to Smash without too much trouble. For me, this is a tough pick. Oh, here we go. Naturally, the character would need to be well-rounded. I won't add anyone with no potential. They would require mobility, true combos, good recovery, a mix of range and close quarters. You know what? I'd just bring back Old Fox. Monica, you're supposed to choose someone different. Then turn New Fox into Peppy.
5. Out of every Pokemon known so far, which one is your favorite? Mine's Mimikyu, but Clefairy is a close second.
Oh, we did this already too. Clefairy's really cute though. What's a Mimikyu? Oh, it's a little ghost fairy that wants to be popular like Pikachu. So it made a creepy disguise that looks like one.
It's actually kind of morbid. The first time it's hit in battle, the disguise's neck snaps.
Wow, they put that in Pokemon. That almost seems like a betrayal of the genre.
6. Do any of you watch a show called Steven Universe?
I do. Me too, I really like it. On top of being well written, I think it's very progressive with its themes. Yeah, that's looking really on the real when people talk about it. I just enjoy it as a show, but I appreciate what they've done for other people.
Is that the one about gay superwomen?
Shiro!
Relax, I don't have anything against them. It's just not my kind of show, that's all there is to it. Same here, no offense meant.
From what I understand, they explore some controversial topics. But I think that's a good thing. Society's views need challenged every once in a while. Not that I watch it myself, or any cartoons for that matter. I would if I could. I kinda missed the boat. You know I don't watch TV in general.
7. Let's end with the weirdest question you're all going to get. Do you have any fetishes? I'm just asking because I think that everyone has some weird interest, myself included, that they prefer to keep hidden. If you don't want to share, that's okay. I won't force you to answer if you don't want to. I know this was a long list to go through, but to YSM for answering those questions. Excluding that last question, I hope I have managed to brighten your day.
Oh, come on! First the MNN question and now this? Well, forget it! I'm not telling you anything! Oh, same. Even I'm not comfortable talking about this. Not that I was before either. Well, how about the rest of you? Any takers?
Giantesses are pretty hot. Wow, you're never embarrassed to admit anything, are you? Not even a little. Well, since you're being so open about it, I guess I kinda dig furries? But hold on, let me explain a little. It depends on how human they are. There's kind of a spectrum to anthros, and I definitely lean more toward human than animal. Nekos are okay, and things like that.
So wait, you mean just people with animal traits like ears, tails, or whatever?
Basically, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't really call that being a furry.
Well, do you know another word for it?
I guess not. So if Sayori had bunny ears, would that be hot to you? What about you, Tiff? Care to share? Dang, I almost feel normal after those two. See, I'm into burly guys, but remember how I said in my AMA, I think I'm a dom? Yeah. Oh, you guys. I don't have any kinks in particular, but let me just say, I'm open-minded. You're all a bunch of freaking perverts!
Plague Doctor. Yes, thread's still open. I was worried I'd missed the deadline for this. I've been loving you guys' AMAs so far, and all things considered, I think you've all been handling this subreddit pretty well. I've got, well, quite a few questions here, but to try and make things easier, I'll group them as sensibly as I can. Natsuki, I'm glad you seem to be feeling a little better after the end of your AMA. The sub got kinda ruthless.
That's an understatement, but yeah, I do feel a little bit better.
Anyway, some purely innocent questions from me this time. 1. I've recently been introduced to the bizarre, insane, rather impressive creations of one Christine McConnell. Do you follow her work at all, and do you aspire to ever produce anything similarly intricate?
I have no idea who that is. Does she cook or something? It sounds like she makes some pretty weird stuff, but I've never heard of her. So you know what that means. She is going on a follow-up.
So here's the scenario. You get isekai'd into the Food Wars universe and somehow find yourself in a cooking battle. The theme is desserts. The penalty for losing is your entire Parfait Girls manga collection. The prize, if you win, is a fully paid 3-year scholarship to Totsuki Culinary Academy. You have unlimited access to nearly infinite ingredients. The time limit is 2 hours. What would you try cooking? To blow the judges away. What is your ultimate dessert?
Wow, those are some high stakes. I'd have to go all out. It'd be tough with that time limit, but there's a cake I know of that knocks everything else out of the park. It's 3 stacks, each layer is a different flavor of chocolate, and the layers are bisected by fudge and cookie crumbles. The whole thing is covered in chocolate frosting and drizzled with caramel, the sides are decorated with pieces of solid chocolate, the edges are ringed with strawberries dipped in chocolate, and each layer contains a different type of chocolate chip baked inside. It's called Chocopocalypse, and it redefines the word decadent.
This is actually a reference to a comic I wrote a while ago.
If that couldn't win the contest, then those judges don't have any taste.
3. And speaking of cooking school, I know you said it's not a realistic goal for you, but with the AMAs ending soon, what do you think of working towards it by repurposing the camera to start a cooking channel? You've got a small army of fans here, after all, and I'm sure that quite a few of them would happily support YouTuber Natsuki through donations or merch. I know I would, and who knows, might even help things at home.
Well, for starters, it's not my camera. Shiro supplied all the tech for this endeavor, and I'm pretty sure he borrowed it from school.
Can confirm.
So we're not that well equipped, and the cost of getting started would be too high. Not that I'd turn down any donations. Think you guys could fund a Patreon? If we got some starting capital, then maybe.
Yuri, I'm really relieved that you found this place so supportive. You've already answered most of what I was curious about, so just a couple of questions from me. 1. Are you fond of using noise generators when you're writing, and if so, does your choice of ambience affect your writing? I remember you saying you loved the sound of rain, and ambient noise websites seem like just your sort of thing.
Yes, I've put them to great use before. When I'm not in the mood for music, a little background noise can do wonders. If I'm reading or writing about a specific setting, I may choose something that fits for extra immersion. It's hard to say how much influence it has. It's supposed to be subtle after all. But I often find I'm happier with the results when it's employed.
2. Do you think there's any such thing as a piece of writing being too open to interpretation? Or to put it another way, is a work having potentially any meaning the same as it having none?
Yes, I would say there's a limit. While it's fine for an author to hide their intent, it's another matter for it to be inscrutable. Normally, an author writes to share a message, but if no one can discern it, then its true meaning is utterly lost. A balance must be struck. Critical thought is the real benefit of literary analysis, but there should still be some purpose to the work.
Yuri and Natsuki, I'm sure you're getting a little tired of hearing about our DDLC's overly enthusiastic shipping, which is why I want to ask, do you two have any weird, guilty, unrealistic ships of your own that you support? Clashing personalities, sworn enemies, characters from entirely different fandoms? Fellow club members.
I never saw the point of shipping. If they're characters you like for who they are, then why do you imagine them in relationships that don't suit them? I can't believe it! I actually agree with you! People can go shove all their stupid fantasies. It's just a bunch of wish fulfillment. If you want characters to be together, at least choose ones that are compatible. So, do you have any outlandish pairings that may work otherwise? Not really. Most of the ones I like end up together anyway, because they're competently written. So what about club members? I feel like we should ship Sayori to get her back for shipping us. She's so happy with Holly, but maybe she'd be even happier with Shiro. Perfect. We just need a name. Shiori or Sayori? I think Shiori has a nice ring to it. All right, you two. We're officially shipping you. Yes, we now have an irrational desire for you to be amorous with each other. Even though you have nothing in common and are interested in other people. Have fun!
I'll leave you to Hallie.
Okay.
Sayori, hi! Glad you're feeling a little better these days, and that you're getting the support you need from everyone. I think your face there may covered almost everything I was curious about, but... 1. Do you have any music that you just keep coming back to when you're feeling especially rain cloudy? And do you care for any recommendations from the subreddit?
Well, that depends on what they recommend. I don't like melancholy songs. Most things I listen to are really super or fast-paced. When I'm feeling rain cloudy, I'm not often in the mood for music. Even nice songs can't lift me out of it, so it's not much help. If anything, it just makes me wish I could feel better and it gets worse. If you know any good get out of depression songs, I'm all ears.
2. Will we ever get to read My Meadow? I've been kind of wanting to experience it for a while, and I will always support additional Sayori poems.
My Meadow? Oh right, you never got to see that one. I don't have it on me, so there's not much I can do. I'll see if I can find it to show you later, okay?
3. How is Dear Sunshine so goddamn comfy? Seriously, I can see the bittersweetness, and it's still the fluffiest poem in the game I think I've ever read. And every time I go back to it, I feel like I'm right there, curled up in bed. I guess this was more of an excuse to compliment your writing than a question, huh? Oh well, too late now.
I'm glad you liked it. It's something I felt pretty often. The sun is usually what gets me out of bed. Of course, you know why I'm always in bed for so long, but it's still a nice start to the day. I'm always ready for breakfast.
4. You might want to be alone for this one. Have you been to Aranatsuri yet?
Oh, there is stuff that ships Nagiri and Natsuki. I so want to look, but I can't because it doesn't exist in our world. Don't dance me with things I can't have.
MC! Sorry I missed your AMA, dude. Life intervened. You know how it is. Still, you did a good job handling the insanity of this subreddit. Well, that's good to hear. That I did well, not that life gave you problems. Yeah, some of these questions happen pretty far out. 1. Do you usually like to get the special editions and deluxe sets of games and anime, or are you not much of a collector? Just asking for curiosity, no other reason. Collector's editions are nice to have, but they're usually out of my price range. I don't have a job, so I can't go throwing money around too often. I should probably get one soon. I know my parents won't be happy with me slacking off forever. But yeah, special versions for birthdays or Christmas. I can't afford them otherwise. 2. You say that you don't recommend using your poetry writing method, but would you ever suggest it as a writing exercise for the rest of the club? I personally think it'd be kind of cool. Oh, as a writing exercise, I think they're great. The words can be hard to connect together, especially if I come up with weird ones. The others are pretty good at writing, so it would be fun to see how they handle it. But seriously, don't try to write real poetry this way. 3. How does it feel to know you've been Rule 63'd by the subreddit? Is it just kinda expected by this point? Rule 63. Which one was that again?
Oh, Henry, you stop being a guy and I stop being a girl.
Oh, gender bending. Got it. Yep, it's still pretty freaking weird. And not at all surprising. Monica, your attempts to maintain the integrity of the fourth wall are, frankly, way more entertaining than they should be, and your little smirk during MC's AMA was priceless. Just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I'm glad you thought so. It seems other people are getting frustrated. I know it's hard to trust me, but when you know what's up, you'll understand.
I really only have a couple of questions I think are really worth asking here. 1. Do you think anybody truly has free will? I mean, sure, it feels like we do, but isn't that feeling itself ultimately an emergent property of neurons and synapses obeying pretty simple laws of physics? Aren't my choices and decisions ultimately the product of thousands of intersecting life events stretching all the way back in an unbroken chain of causality to the moment of conception? When it comes down to it, aren't we all just following scripts? Maybe I should make a religion out of. Write a poem about this.
You could write more than just a poem on that subject. The free will debate has been going on for centuries, and it's unlikely to let up. Whether our actions are our own or just a result of chemicals in our brains is hard to say. Personally, I think free will must exist because humans are more complex than that. We aren't guided solely by instinct or even by logic. The things we value, the tasks we apply ourselves to, there's no natural basis for it. Some say it's all genetics and that every outcome is inevitable. But we show our force of will when we defy our nature. We can go against what our own bodies tell us. That's freedom of choice.
2. Is it better to be born with a purpose you might not like, or to be forced to make your own purpose and run the risk of never finding one, no matter how hard you try, floundering in a world that cares little for your existence?
I think the latter of those two is how the world already is. Everyone has things they're naturally good at and others they can't handle at all. But people aren't the same or the sum of their parts. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you enjoy it. Finding your own purpose isn't easy, but it's necessary to live a fulfilling life. It may seem hopeless at times, but keep in mind just how long you have to figure it out. Unless you have a fatal disease, there are years upon years of time at your disposal. And even then, some people live well past their life expectancy anyway. You get out of life what you put into it, just don't give up.
3. What did you have in mind when you offered to act a little more creepy for us? What would your take on yandere, Monica, have been?
Looking back, I think I was more of a yandere than I realized. It didn't seem that way since I didn't think the others were real, but in context it's pretty obvious. But if I were to take it up a notch, I guess it'd be something like... You know, Hallie, I think about you constantly. Maybe every second. You're always at the forefront of my mind. Do you think of me often, too? Do you look forward to seeing me every day? Do I cross your mind during those idle moments? Or perhaps late at night? I don't mind if you fantasize about me. We can do whatever you want in your imagination.